Today's true crime story is going to be the unaliving of Gladys Punch and her brother, Warren George Tarkington. This crime happened back in 1994, but before we talk about it, let's talk about who Gladys Punch was. Gladys Punch was in her 70s, and she had been married to her husband, Eugene Punch, since they met when they were both serving in the Navy during World War II. So they met each other while they were both enlisted. And then Gladys, when she got out of the Navy, she was a registered nurse in the local area. So she devoted her life to helping other people and giving back to people. Her husband and her were devoted to each other until he passed away in 1992. He had Alzheimer's, and she stood by him and took care of him until he passed. After he passed, she would go and visit him at St. Lawrence Cemetery off Route 34 in West Haven, Connecticut, and she would go there a few times a week to go and visit him. So in Labor Day weekend of 1994, her brother came to visit. Her brother, Warren George Tarkington, known as Tag, came from Queens, New York to come and visit his sister. He was a former longshoreman and from Queens. He was kind of mellow, but known for being a little bit tough also. So he was out in Connecticut visiting his sister when they went to the cemetery to go see Eugene. So while they were at the cemetery, what authorities believe happened is that they were ambushed. A little bit later, a passerby saw two bodies laying in the cemetery and called the police to report it in. When the police arrived, Mr. Tarkington was already deceased. He had been shot twice in the face, and authorities think it was because he was actually the one who tried to fight back, because he also had his wallet on him with a couple $100s in it. Gladys was a little bit further away, and she had hip problems. She walked with a cane, so it's believed that she probably tried to run away to the best she could, because her car was parked very close. Due to her mobility issues, she wasn't able to walk far distances. So when the police arrived, her body was a little bit further away, which also ruled out a murder-suicide possibility. Her blue Pontiac was parked to the side. Her keys were still there, but her purse and wallet were missing. So it is believed that robbery was the motive of this incident. She was still alive when police came, but she was pronounced dead at Yale New Haven Hospital a short time later because she had a gunshot wound in her neck. So during this time in 1994, there was a rash of robberies of elderly people at cemeteries. People had been putting pressure on cemeteries to actually increase their security to make it safer for the people that are coming to visit them. So it was believed that this is probably one of those robberies gone wrong. It was a warm day. It was Labor Day weekend. So there was people out cooking and grilling and stuff. So police canvassed the area. There was a report of seeing 2 to 3 young teenagers running away from the area. So it's possible that they were involved. The police continued to investigate this incident. They did develop a suspect. However, this suspect had no evidence that tied him to this particular crime. The biggest lead that they had was because he had been arrested for committing similar crimes in the same area, where he was robbing elderly people while they were going to visit their loved ones at the cemetery. But without any evidence linking him to this specific crime, he was not arrested for it. Many years later, with changes in DNA gathering and forensics and stuff, they actually reopened the case and they tried to investigate it a little bit more, but there were no other suspects that were ever developed. So the only suspect is the one that they weren't able to charge. What makes this very interesting is 2 months later, a young man, he was 20 years old, his name is Jerry Dolphin, he disappeared from the West Haven area. He was also from this area, and it's believed that his disappearance was actually linked to this double murder that happened at the cemetery. They believe that what investigators actually believe is that this young man, Jerry Dolphin, actually witnessed this crime with Gladys Punch and her brother, and he was the only key piece of evidence that could actually tie the suspect to the crime, and they believe that's why he disappeared. His family has never gotten any closure on what happened to him. It's never been found. There's never been any trace of him since this incident. So it is believed that he is not alive anymore. However, his family deserves to know what happened to him, and Gladys and her brother, their family deserves justice for their unnecessary unaliving also. The Connecticut police have a $20,000 reward for anybody who has information leading to a conviction on the Gladys Punch case. There's also a reward for There's also a reward for Jerry Dolphin if anybody comes up with any information that would help lead to the arrest and capture of whatever happened to him. Both of these families do deserve some justice. If there is any information out there, anybody that knows anything, this is 32 years ago now. Their families deserve to know what happened to these individuals.